All right, welcome to Module 8. My name is Josh. I'm your push coach, and today I want to talk to you about something that is incredibly important in your business, but I believe very, very, very underrated. One of my original clients told me she works for a company that has 4 vital behaviors, but they used to only have 3. And she told me one time, she said, Josh, the 4th vital behavior really should be expanding your network. This is someone who worked very, very, very hard to grow her Instagram following. Her Instagram following is now over 80,000 people, and pretty much 100% of her sales depends on this massive following that she's built. So here's the thing. I don't think it's rocket science that the bigger following you have, the easier it's going to be to grow your business. But here's the thing. Sometimes at the beginning, we get so caught up in all of the conversations, all of the invites, all of the posting that we forget this aspect of expanding the network. One of the reasons is because it takes time. You don't usually see results at all from expanding your network today. You don't see results until 6 months down the road, maybe even 12 months down the road, and that's why so many people avoid it. They try to just talk to the people they know now, just connect with the people that are already following them or that they've already made friends with this. But here's the thing I want you to understand. The same way we have a window of time with our customers and with our recruits is the same way we have a window of time with our followers. Anyone who is following you or friends with you on social media in any way, we have a window of time of about 6 to 12 months. After 6 to 12 months, those people are 1, annoyed by us, 2, just over it. It's not exciting anymore. It's not new news. It's, you know, when you first sign up for something, people are usually like really excited about it, but over time that goes away, right? If they've been watching your posts for 6 to 12 months, there's a really good chance that they're either one of your lifers, or 2, someone that's just never going to sign up. Just never. Now, obviously, part of what we're trying to do is accumulate lifers, obviously. But the same way we have to constantly get new customers is the same way we have to constantly get new recruits. But what we sometimes forget is that the only way to have a constant flow of new customers and new recruits is to have a constant flow of new followers. This is one of the reasons I'm very, very intentional. I personally do it on my like page, because on my like page, I can spend money to get new followers. I don't have to spend my time and energy. Now, that's not to say that Facebook like page is the right place for everyone. That's just where I choose to do it. And again, I will have a bonus video on how I use Facebook like page, Facebook ads to do that. We're also going to have a couple bonus videos specifically on people who use Instagram to grow their following, because I do not consider myself an Instagram expert. So those of you that are super wanting to dive into Instagram, I will bring in experts to talk about that, okay? Facebook ads is kind of my expertise. Facebook personal page is also, I consider, one of my expertise. So what I want to do is I want to just walk you through a couple of the common practices that you can do to grow your network. It is on the app. It's something that you must do every single day. But I want to give you a couple ideas so you at least know where to start, okay? Facebook, if you're on your personal page, okay? Obviously, the easiest way is to go through the friend suggestions. Every single day, Facebook is going to give you friend suggestions based on mutual friends that you would have. Now, I do recommend that you don't just hit add friend, add friend, add friend, add friend 10 times. What I recommend is you looking through the suggestions to find out, are these my people? Now, for me personally, I know that it's going to suggest me a lot of people based on the business relationships I have and the personal relationships. And if it's based on the personal relationships, I completely ignore it, because remember, I'm trying to build a business training business people. Now, for you, it may be the exact opposite. For you, it's going to suggest people that you have business relationships with, which chances are other people in your company. You don't need them on your friends list. You don't need them to see stuff, okay? You're probably going to want to avoid those people and instead try to add the people that you have personal connections with. Now, think a little bit further about this. If you are a woman who really is only interested in selling to women and recruiting women, don't take the time to add any dudes to your friends list. Makes no sense. If you are in your 20s probably want to think about an age span of 20 to 40 that you're trying to add. If you're in your 30s, maybe 30 to 50. If you're in your 50s, maybe 40 to 60. Think about gender and age, okay? Typically speaking, what is the gender that I sell to? What is the age that I sell to? Now, if you're someone who does both genders, that's totally fine too, okay? But I do think that age is kind of important because usually, typically speaking, a 60-year-old is not going to buy from a 20-year-old, and a 20-year-old is not going to buy from a 60-year-old, typically speaking. I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but what I'm trying to help you to do is if you're going to add to your network at the highest percentage of that you think you can convert. Does that make sense? When I run my Facebook ads, I personally run them towards women. No offense, dudes, but like 99% of people in network marketing are women, so it just makes more sense to advertise to women. Women who are between the ages of 25 and 50. It's nothing personal against people who are younger than 25 or older than 50. It's just that that is my typical market. And if I'm going to spend money, I want to spend money on the people that are more likely or most likely to convert for me. So think about the same thing when you're adding people to your friends list. Now, that is the easiest way to do it, is what Facebook suggests. To be honest, probably the most profitable way and the best way to do it that takes a little bit more work is to find Facebook groups that are based on specific activities. Okay? So, if you are a religious person, look for some religious groups. Now, be careful about what kind of religious groups you find, because some religious groups are very open-minded, some are very closed-minded. So just keep that in mind if you're looking. Religion is a very, very broad topic. So two people being religious doesn't mean that they're the same kind of people. Does that make sense? So make sure you're looking for something more specific. Maybe it's a faith in fitness. Maybe it's a faith in family. Maybe it's a faith in finances. Try to find, if it's faith, try to find one more thing in the group that, or two things that you align with, if that makes sense. If you're someone who loves to travel, join a Facebook group that's for people who travel. If you have a Jeep, join a Facebook group for other people who have Jeeps. If you're a musician, for people who are musicians. If you can find interest groups, okay? Remember the form, family, occupation, recreation, message. If you can find a group full of people that already have a similar family experience, or a similar occupation, or a similar recreation. If you can find one of those three things that you already know you have in common, think of how much easier it is to strike up a conversation with that person than just a random person on social media. So if you can join these interest groups, then what you want to do is go through those interest groups and start adding those people as your friends. Now, you do not want to spam your interest group with things about your company. If you're in an interest group about hiking, talk about hiking. If you're in an interest group about faith and family, talk about faith and family. But remember, if you can add them to your friends list, now they're going to start seeing the stuff you post over on your personal page, where we're going to plant all these seeds. Also, though, be intentional about dropping in some of these interests into your post. Remember how you have the lifestyle post? Drop some of these things from your interest group into your lifestyle posts so that they will connect with you on both places. Does that make sense? Another thing that you can do is you can actually modify your Facebook news feed to feature specific people. So let's say you're in an interest group for people who have Jeeps. You can modify your Facebook news feed to show you people from that group first. Now, here's what's really cool is you can go through and make sure you are liking and commenting on their stuff. And I don't know if you realize this, but your Facebook algorithm score isn't just based on if they interact with you, it's based on if you interact with them. Every single time you like and comment on other people's stuff, it makes your score with them higher, which makes them see your stuff too. So if you can organize your newsfeed based on the people that you want to see your stuff, now you go through and like and comment on their stuff, and now they're going to start seeing your stuff. Okay? So that's for Facebook. For Instagram, we've got a couple different things. On Instagram, number one is hashtags. okay? Using hashtags on your post basically cause your post to show up in the search where people are using hashtags, okay? So every single time you use a hashtag, it is basically causing you to show up in some type of a search result in Instagram. So Instagram allows you to use up to 30 hashtags on every single post. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I make my post, and then in a separate comment, I enter down several spots and drop my hashtags. The reason for that is if all 30 hashtags show up in my actual post, it looks spammy, and people know that I'm someone posting to just try to grow my business, and they're less likely to read what I have to say. So I drop my hashtags down in the comments where it doesn't show up when you're scrolling, okay? Now my girl Crystal Courier actually recommends that you don't use all 30 because Instagram has gotten really smart and they're starting to blacklist people that use too many hashtags in their posts. She recommends that you only use 20, okay? So if you want to be careful about that, just use 20. Now here's the thing with hashtags is you need to take the time to research which hashtags you want to show up in. And this is one of the things people have the most questions about, which is why I'm going to have Crystal do a video for us on Instagram and she'll talk about hashtags. But I want you to think about this. I want you to use hashtags that don't necessarily relate to the exact thing you're posting right now, that relate to the people you want to see your post. Do not use your own company name in your hashtags because that's just going to make you show up for people that are searching your company name, which are most likely people in your company. Not to mention you're just throwing yourself in a big search with a whole bunch of other people in your company. You're just adding to the noise. What you want to do is use hashtags that are things that you value, the things that you talk about, that are things that are part of your brand that are not specific to your actual product. Does that make sense? So, for instance, the same things on Facebook, the same type of interest groups you would be adding yourself to are the same type of hashtags you should be using on Instagram. If you're a Jeep lover, hashtag Jeep lover. But there's no Jeep in my picture. Doesn't matter. It really has nothing. It really has nothing to do with the actual post you were making at that present time. Now, obviously you can have some things that relate to the post. What I like to do is have like 20 hashtags that I copy and paste into my post, and then I'll customize it with 2 or 3 hashtags that actually relate to the current post that I'm doing, okay? And I like to have 3 or 4 sets of hashtags for different kind of posts to kind of mix it up. But whatever it is, please go do your research, okay? Have your hashtags in a note somewhere on your phone where you can copy and paste them over. Do not sit there and type up 20 custom hashtags for every single post. Again, you'll lose your mind, okay? That's one way. Another way is every single time you like or comment on someone else's post, you show up in their notifications. If you show up in their notifications, they go, oh, here's someone that liked my stuff. I don't even know who this is. I'm going to go check them out. If they think that you look like someone that's awesome, they're going to follow you. So another thing you can do to grow your following on Instagram is go through the hashtags that you use, okay, and like and comment on people's pictures. That will get you showing up in their newsfeed or in their notifications, okay? Last thing you can do on Instagram is actually follow people, okay? For the most part, for every 10 people that you follow, about 3 to 4 of them will follow you back. It's just how it works. People on Instagram are very nice people. If you follow them, they feel very, oh wow, this person found me and they followed me. Oh, they must love me. They must think I'm wonderful. So don't go follow 5,000 people, okay? But if you really want to build up that following quick, one of the things you can do is go through those hashtags. Or another thing that I've actually been telling people lately, if you are having trouble finding people to talk to on Instagram by using hashtags, it's getting to the point where a lot of the hashtags are full of people like us that are also building businesses, okay? So if you're trying to find people to have conversations with on Instagram, that's one of the best ways, is to go just looking for people that way. But what I have found can actually be more effective is find large users who are already building a brand similar to yours, but aren't selling your product or even maybe a product like yours. So for instance, let me give you an example. If you sell, if you sell cosmetics and skincare products, find a user or a product who already has a massive following that sells something similar or that just has a huge name in the fashion industry. Go click on their followers and go through their followers and follow those people, like and comment on those people, and strike up conversations with those people. That's something I didn't really cover in the conversations part, was how to find people to have conversations with. If you're building on Instagram, it is a little bit tougher to find people, right? On Facebook, just talk to whoever's on your friend list anytime. Instagram, you may not have that liberty, you may not have enough followers. One of the things you can do is go find people who do have large followings that are the same kind of people you want to reach, and just go through their followers. You can literally go to a page, any page. You can click on their followers if they have a public profile, and you can see everyone that follows them. And you can go through, if they're following, for instance, for me, I know if you follow Lewis Howes and Grant Cardone, you're probably a similar person that would follow me. So I can go to Lewis Howes, I can look at his followers, and I can go through and follow them, knowing that 4 out of 10 of them will follow me back. I can go through and like and comment on their stuff, knowing that they're going to come check me out and like me. Makes sense? If you're a health and fitness coach, find other people who are famous in the health and fitness industry. Find different brands like Nike Women or Nike Men or New Balance, Lululemon. Go to these pages and start going through their followers, because anyone that's following them is interested in the same kind of product that you have to offer. Make sense? That's how we expand our network, and I need you to do it every single day. I want you to make it a goal every single day to add 10 new people to your network, okay? If you're on Facebook, that's very easy. Just send 10 friend requests a day. If you're on Instagram, it's a little bit tougher because you don't send a friend request, you're just trying to get 10 followers. So what I want you to do is try to figure out how many followers a day do you get just from making posts and using hashtags. Let's say you get 3 a day. I want you to find a way to get 7 other people to follow you. Now, again, it's not an exact science on Instagram, but you might find, you know what, if I spend 10 minutes a day liking and commenting on people's stuff, that usually gets me an extra 7 followers a day, then that's what I want you to do. If you say by following 15 or 20 people a day, I usually get 5 or 6 followers, then follow 5, 10 or 15 people a day. But come up with a specific system, even on Instagram, okay, to try to get 10 new people to your page every single day. Now let's do the math. 10 new people a day times 30 days in a month. You have 300 new eyeballs a month on your stuff. Now, over 12 months, if you started today, in 12 months, you would have 3,600 more people watching your stuff. And at the end of the day, let me say this, and so we're kind of coming to a close. We've only got 1 module left. Let me say this. Everything we do comes down to a numbers game. If X amount of people see our posts, then X amount of people will engage with our posts. If X amount of people engage with our posts, X amount of people will be interested in what we have to offer. If we send out X amount of conversations and invites, X amount of people will join us on this opportunity. Everything we do is about numbers. If you want to get to the point where your posts do more work for you than what you have to do, remember, if people like and comment on your posts, it makes it 100 times easier to start a conversation and send an invite because you didn't have to go find them. They came and found you. The more you can build up your following, the less time you will spend running around trying to find people, and the more time you can spend just talking to the people who are already interacting with you. All right? Remember that. Everything is a numbers game, and the future is depending on the numbers we create today. That's the end of this module, and I will see you in our final module next.